Hello, wonderful person. My name is Philip, and right now, this moment, I am starting goldindigo.com. This is going to be a place online where I will share things that I have learned about this life. The main purpose is I want to help people. I want to bring you information that is going to be useful. Looking at me, you can probably tell that I am middle-aged, and I am mainly going to share with you things that I wish I had known 20 years ago, or even 30 years ago. Now, most of the information that I have to give you is going to be very powerful, and it's going to be so powerful that basically it's illegal. And therefore I'm not going to give it to you. But what I'm going to tell you is what I have personally experienced. So let me give you a quick example of that, which, by the way, is one of the most powerful pieces of information that you will probably ever hear in your life if you are a human being. And that is, I am not going to tell you that vitamin C is the cure for the common cold, and there is a big conspiracy that tries to keep that information from you. This is what I'm not going to tell you, and the reason I'm not going to tell you this is that it would be probably illegal, and if not, certainly in some way improper for me in the United States to make a statement like that, claiming that something is a cure that is not a cure. As you probably know, when you buy a bottle of vitamin C in the store here in America, it'll have language like, keep away from children, and this is not intended to cure or diagnose any disease, and it'll have the phrase, these statements have not been evaluated by the FDA, by the Food and Drug Administration. Well, quick question. What is the purpose of the FDA, of the Food and Drug Administration? If 80 years ago researchers discovered vitamin C, and researchers actually discovered what all it cures, do you think maybe 80 years later the Food and Drug Administration, the taxpayers are paying for, might get around to evaluating statements like this? No, they don't evaluate statements like that. Okay, anyway, I'm going off on a tangent here, and I know, of course, they're just going to say, no, it's not their purpose to do that. No, they're not about food and drugs, they're just called the Food and Drug Administration. Okay, so anyway, I'm not going to tell you that vitamin C cures anything. What I'm going to tell you is that I used to get colds every now and then, like anyone, I guess, maybe a couple of times a year. And occasionally I would take some vitamin C because a friend recommended it, or because I just thought to myself, oh yeah, vitamin C is good for the immune system. Let's take some vitamin C. So I took maybe 500 milligrams, maybe 1,000 milligrams, and then a couple of hours later I might take another 1,000 milligrams. And then the next day I would still have a cold, I would still kind of be sick, but I would tell myself, okay, the vitamin C probably helped. It would be worse if I hadn't taken it, and yada yada. The same thing that you have probably experienced. Well, that's what any reasonable person would do, because you get this vitamin C in the bottle and it says, oh yeah, the suggested dosage is 500 milligrams, which is, well, probably about 800% of the recommended daily allowance. So you're thinking, okay, if I take one of these or even two, definitely I'll have enough. Yep. Well, that was my experience before I came across people, actually on YouTube, doctors Thomas Levy, Andrew Saul, Francis. Actually, I don't remember Dr. Francis. He has a last name, but I don't remember it. I'm sure you can find him on YouTube. They are doctors. One of them a medical doctor, the others are PhDs. I listened to some of their talks and I realized what the problem is with the vitamin C conspiracy. What they're not telling you is, well, I'm not going to talk about what they're not telling you. I'm not going to tell you what these talks say, because you can look them up on YouTube if you're interested. All I'm going to tell you is that ever since I started using vitamin C differently, I have not had a cold. As a matter of fact, still every few months I start experiencing the symptoms of a cold, the beginnings of a cold. I have maybe a little bit of a scratchy throat, I feel tired, maybe I have a little bit of a headache. I mean, you probably know what a cold is like. So I start getting these symptoms. What I do whenever that happens is I take 1,000 to 3,000 milligrams of vitamin C dissolved in water, and then 6 to 10 minutes later I take another 1,000, and 6 to 10 minutes after that I take another 1,000. 6 to 10 minutes later I take another 1,000. And usually after a half an hour of this, the symptoms are gone. Sometimes it takes a couple of hours of this. And you can look up the information, you can listen to these doctors, to the actual doctors who will explain how all this works. I'm not going to tell you the exact details. I'm not going to tell you that vitamin C is a cure for anything or is not a cure for anything. I just want you to be aware of the fact that the scam is a little bit subtle. They're telling you, yeah, do take vitamin C, it's good for the immune system. And the recommended dosage is 60 milligrams. And they're not telling you, well, if you have a cold, you need 50,000 milligrams. Why are they not telling you this? I don't know, you'd have to ask them. Look at the research. Look at Drs. Klenner, Hoffer, or whatever he's called. Dr. Linus Pauling, 2 Nobel Prizes. Look at his research if you're interested. If you're not interested in looking up things online, well, that's what I'm here for. I point you in the right direction. You can try it out for yourself. Are there any side effects? Well, I'm not going to lie to you. There's one side effect that was found at some point in the 1990s, I think. And someone said that if you take very large doses of vitamin C, you might get more kidney stones. There was one study with a few people that showed that there was a slightly increased risk of kidney stones. After that, since then, there have been 3 studies proving that vitamin C does not increase the risk of kidney stones, that as a matter of fact, it slightly reduces the risk of kidney stones. Nobody talks about those studies. One of them was by Harvard. I don't remember what the other 2 were. Anyway, so that's the one official side effect. And the other thing is, there's a very natural phenomenon that happens to anyone if you take too much vitamin C orally, meaning you just swallow it. Within a few minutes, you will start getting gastrointestinal discomfort. You'll get gas. You might even get really liquid diarrhea. Yep, that is, if you want to call it a side effect. I like to look at it as almost an intended effect, because what's actually happening is, when you have diarrhea, your body is flushing out poison. For example, the poison that the virus has created, that is making you sick. That is coming out through your intestines. And this diarrhea does not last a long time. It's gone after a day. It's gone after an hour, usually, in my experience. I can't tell you what your experience is going to be like. You are living your own experience. Live your experience. Do it. Anyway, I've talked enough about this, I hope. Just look into it. Just become informed. Experiment. The only thing I'm telling you is there is a lot that you don't know, and it's not because you're too stupid or too lazy to look. It's because there is a huge force out there actively trying to keep things from people. And I hope my future posts are going to be a little bit more positive. I can't promise that they will, but either way, if you would like to be the first person ever to comment on one of my videos, I believe it is down there somewhere. Otherwise, I'll see you all a little later. Have a good one. Real quick before I let you go, look at these magnificent birds. Aren't they beautiful? And by the way, I remembered Dr. Francis. Francis is actually his last name. It's Raymond Francis, just in case you were interested. He's a very positive, very beautiful person, and he has very good information. He has great information. If you want, take a look at his talks. They're on YouTube. At least they were when I found them. There's no guarantees in this world. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one.